Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Two Truths podcast. All right. Rebel's out. He's in Singapore. No, I'm just playing. We got a guest today. We got Miguel as usual. Today we got a guest, Thach.
What up, baby?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm honored to be here today, man. I've been waiting for this day.
For sure. It's funny. I've known who you were for quite a while, but we've never actually really met in person. I've seen you in passing a little bit at the gym every once in a while, and I know one of my good friends, Moose Math. He's real close with you. You've been a mentor to him. I know everybody calls you Thach, but is that really how you pronounce your name, or is it Thach?
It's interesting. So, my name is spelled Thach.
Yeah, in English.
In Vietnamese, it's a real Vietnamese name, Thach, right?
Okay.
But what happened was, when I was younger, living in Rainy Valley, all my friends was like American friends, right?
Yeah.
And they couldn't really say the word Thach.
Okay.
And so I got nicknamed Thach because I used to do a lot of talking when I was young.
Okay.
And all the homies from South Seattle,
Okay.
they knew me from Thach.
Yeah.
And so what happened was that became my nickname.
Okay.
And then throughout all South Seattle, right, everybody knew from Thach. So when someone walk up to me and they're like, "Yo, Thach," then I knew they're from the South End.
Oh, okay. That's funny because that's how I heard that.
That's right.
I don't even remember who it was that told me, but I heard from some OGs. Then they were talking about something. They were like, "Oh yeah, Thach," and I would be like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Is that
So
Thach?
anybody who ever say that, I just know they're from back in the days.
Yeah.
And they found the South End with me.
Right.
Like that.
That's what's
dope.
up. I like that.
Well, man, it would be dope, I think, to get a little bit more of your backstory too, because you were born in Vietnam, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
So I was born in Vietnam in 1970.
Okay.
So I'll be 54 next month. So
Okay.
it's been a long time.
Congratulations.
My dad at the time was a translator for the U.S. military in 75. And during that time, there was the Vietnam War.
Yep.
And his boss had called him one day and said, "Hey, the Vietnamese communists is going to invade South Vietnam now. They're taking over the capital. And the U.S. troop, we are going to pull out of Saigon and we're going to get out of here."
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the city was not aware that the U.S. troop is pulling out. The city was just living, but they knew there was a war happening up in north. And they heard that the war is coming in down to the south. Nobody knew when exactly they're going to get to the south. They don't really know what even going to happen when they even get into Saigon.
Yeah.
The people that live there just thought that when the communists come in, and then they just going to have troops in here. But what they didn't know is when they came in, they just took over the whole country. And it's driven, today it's a communist world.
Right.
And so my dad had called my mom and said, "Hey, the U.S. troop is pulling out of Vietnam, and they're getting out of here." And my boss said I should come with him. Otherwise, if I don't come with him, when the Vietnamese communists come in, when they find out U.S. troops, Vietnamese people working with U.S. troops, then they're going to capture them.
Right.
And they're probably going to be in prison. They're going to probably kill them. So my mom, at the time, was cooking lunch for all of us. I was 5 years old. And my dad said, "Coming home, we're going to get you guys. So just pack up. We're going to leave."
Oh, it was like a one-day decision.
Not even a day, bro. It's like literally I'll be home in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom was 29. My dad was 34. So you think about that shit, right? You're like, damn, 29? What was I at 29? Well, I know damn well I wasn't thinking about leaving no country.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so my mom, man, came. She packed up all the kids, packed up everything we had into one suitcase. We had like $100. And she was making lunch at the time. She packed that up. And then my dad came home. He pulled up. And he's like, "Get in. We out of here." And you think about that. It make you think like, damn. Like, as a parent with 5 kids, my mom was pregnant. Like, how you just like, we're getting in the Jeep. We're out. We're going to another country.
Yeah.
And we all got into the Jeep. And then what was crazy is we, on our way to the airport, which is like a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive.
You were in Saigon?
No, we lived down south.
Oh, you lived in South. Okay.
We go and trying to pick up all my aunties, my grandma. Nobody's home. And it make you think about sometime, right? Destiny. Like, I'm a big believer that everybody we meet on our path was meant to be met at the right time at the right place every single time. You know what I mean? Just the fact like I met Robert, you know, back in the day. Who would have knew, what, 5-6 years ago we met him at, you know, at the old building? That today we're still hanging out. You know what I mean? And so my grandma, everybody wasn't home, so we couldn't wait for them, so we had to keep going. And we, on our way to the airport, we blew a tire. My dad got out of the car. He fixed it. He didn't have one spare. Put the car back down, kept going. 30 minutes before we get to the airport, we blew another tire. He had no more spare. So he had to wave somebody down, get a ride, go to the airport, go to a gas station, fix another tire, and bring it back. And, you know, every time I think about this story, and then we got the car and we head to the airport, and we missed the last plane. So my dad called the boss and was like, hey, we missed the plane. The boss was like, don't worry about it. We got one more plane left. It's going to leave tomorrow morning. So just stay in town, right? And just make sure, meet us at this location at this time early in the morning, and then we're going to take you in. So my dad slept in the Jeep because he wanted nobody to steal it. And we were staying in this hotel. We've been traveling all day. And we woke up early in the morning. We got to this gas station. We got into this U-Haul truck. There was a bunch of other people. And we got into the airport. It was dark in there, I remember. We opened the door, and everybody was running like chaos just out in the airport trying to get on this last plane. There's only personnel, people that work for the U.S. military. No.
Right. The
And
government.
we got in the last plane. But, you know, sometimes I think about it, you know, when I think about people say, oh, man, I had this goal, and I didn't achieve it. Or I want to lose weight, you know what I mean? Or I want to get fit, but I can't show up to the gym, or, you know, they're not willing to do what it takes, or I want to make some more money so my kid can have more freedom. And I tell people, you ain't that clear on your goal. Because if you're clear on the goal, you're going to do what it takes to get it.
Right.
My dad was clear, we ain't staying in Vietnam.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We're going to make it happen.
Right? Because if we ain't leaving,
Right.
we all going to die. So you think about it. 2 flat tire, and you're 30 minutes away from the airport. You got to get creative.
Right.
You wave somebody down. And so I always think about that story, and I ask my mom and dad, and they're like, man, we just had to get to the airport. And so when people tell me their lame-ass excuses about, oh, man, I can't do that, I can't do that, all I know is you ain't super clear in your goal, because if you're clear in your goal, you'll find a solution to make it happen. If you ain't clear, you're just going to find some excuses just to stop. You know what I mean? And thank God my dad and my mom did what it takes, because really, think about it. If we didn't never left this country, Vietnam, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Right.
So that one decision my dad made is the projection of who I am today.
Right.
Because I see my cousin in Vietnam all the time when I go back and visit them. They're just ordinary people working ordinary job.
Right.
And so it's like, how is it different from somebody making $100 a month and someone making $1 million a month in the U.S. and the same person born in the same village? You know what I mean? And it's that one decision my dad made, and that is the projection. So sometimes people don't realize, man, one decision we make sometimes is the projection for many, many things. And so we left, we landed over here, and then we grew up. We lived in a homeless shelter, a couple of different places, and we got up to Tacoma. We lived in Tacoma for about a few months, and then we lived in South Seattle on Orchid Street.
Okay.
Martin Luther King Orchid. We lived there since 77,
Okay.
all the way. I grew up in South Seattle all my
Right.
life, all the way till now.
Right by the AM/PM.
Hey, that's it, bro.
Yeah.
You already know. Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that early life like in America for you?
Man, it was tough because, you know, South Seattle back then, you know what I mean, it was just starting to, you know, because South Seattle, where I live, 33rd, you know, a lot of blacks,
Yeah.
not that many white folks living down there. Asians starting to move in,
Yeah.
Cambodian people moving in.
Right.
That's why today 98118 is the most diverse zip code now.
For sure.
Right? So for me, when I was coming up out of there, I remember doing paper route. You know, I remember going to the food banks with my mom and dad, you know, picking up big block of cheese, big bag of cereals. I remember going to school in that area. I remember going to AM/PM, and this lady at the counter was like, "If you're gonna sneeze, cover your damn mouth, kid." You know, like with germs and shit. You know what I mean? I remember I used to go door knocking.
Yeah.
When I was in real estate, starting out 91, 92, I was like 21 years old. I used to door knock. I remember people used to say, "Go learn how to speak English before you come knocking on my door, you chink." You know what I mean? So that's what it was in South Seattle. But that was just normal, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, if you really think about what my dad did, I was knocking on 100 doors a day, 5 days a week. It took me 5 hours to knock on 100 doors. I did it for 10 years.
And what were you doing when you were knocking on the door?
Asking people to want to sell their house.
Okay.
And the first year is probably, chink, get off my porch. I didn't ever ask you. I could have easily, man, just gave up. I just picked my ass up and just got up, put my head up, knocked on the next door. But I knew why I was doing it, though. My biggest reason was I wanted to retire my mom. Because she's working at this place right down the street right here. There's a imitation crab company right here, right on the other side of this this bridge. He used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My dad would drop her off. She worked till like 6 o'clock. Come home, make dinner all night. You know what I mean? And then get up, do it again. And she wasn't making that much money anyways.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, I was out knocking on the door, and I know I can make some money.
Yeah.
So my biggest reason why I was out there knocking on the door and dealing with it, my first goal was I had to retire her.
Yeah.
And I did what it took. You know what I mean? I retired her. Then eventually I made more money. I retired my dad.
Yeah.
Right? And then one by one, I retired people in my family. So, yeah.
That's dope, man. What
that's amazing.
What was your dad doing at that time? Was
My
he doing
dad
real
was a
estate
social
also?
worker.
Oh, he was a social worker. Okay.
So my dad was a social worker. My mom worked at the factory.
Right.
Grew up in, Orchid Street.
Yeah.
Just like, refugee family.
Yep.
Didn't speak no English. My mom didn't speak English. My dad was the only one who was speaking English. And
So how did you get involved into real estate then at that time?
so I went to school in Dearborn, Asa Mercer.
Mercer. Okay. Middle school.
And then I graduated from Franklin in '88.
Okay.
I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. My two older brother was in the aviation. They were fixing airplanes. One was flying. And I was like, you know what? That sounded like a cool job. I went and got my A&P mechanic license at South Seattle Community College.
Okay.
With my older brother. And then he got a job working for Alaska Airlines. But he had to relocate to another state and do it. And then when I graduated 2 years later, I got a job, and they said, you got to relocate. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm cool. You know what I mean? I don't want to relocate.
Yeah.
Let me just stay in Seattle. And so I was still parking cars in Chinatown right here at Tai Tung.
Oh, Dai Tung, yeah.
Yep. And I was working at a body shop in Bellevue.
Yep.
And I was working at a bagging grocery and stock and shop at Safeway grocery store over in Rainier Beach.
Okay.
And in '91, when I graduated from college, I didn't want to go out of town. I wanted to stay home, and I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to do aviation. And so my friend was like, you should do real estate, bro. And I was like, yeah. He was telling me, you make a lot of money doing that. You got a good mouthpiece. You should do it. I was like, oh, yeah? That sounds pretty cool. And I went and got my license, and I passed. I'm like, shit, what did I do? So I went and met this broker at Windermere down in Sugar Park. And he was like, hey, man, if you want to do it, right, I help you get your license. I help you how to figure out how to do this stuff. And I was like, okay. And I was the youngest agent ever hired in Washington at the time, at 21 years old.
And you just went and talked to him cold, or you already had a connection with him?
I went down there. I was like, hey, I just got my license.
Gotcha.
21 years old, right? And then he interviewed me. He said, I remember this question he asked me. You're the youngest agent. You're 21, right? What are you going to do for me, right, that caused me to want to hire you?
Right.
And I remember one thing I learned, though. I said to him, Brian, from what I understand, as a real estate agent, you don't pay me. I pay you a percentage of every one of my check. So if I don't make no money, you ain't losing nothing. You can get rid of me. But if I actually make some money, you'll make money. My dad's a social worker. He worked with a lot of Asian people. And my goal is to work his friend.
Right.
So if I make money, you're going to make money.
Yeah.
You got nothing to lose. And he hired me for that statement he told me later on down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you sold him on that.
I sold him on that.
Right.
And so that's how I started.
That's dope.
Yeah. That's how I started as a real estate agent in 1991 at 21 years old.
Yeah.
So year one,
Year
how many Houses.
Year one, not much. I work in a Safeway, body shop, Thai Tongue restaurant. In year one in 91, I sold like 2 houses. And it was my dad's friend. And the worst part of it, they asked for kickback. Right? So really, I made no money. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then year 2, 2 deals again. Year 3, 2 deals again. So now I'm 3 years in the business. I only sell 2-3 homes a year.
Yeah.
I'm leaving our home. And I was like, shit, this ain't working out. You know what I mean? And I was going to quit. And there was this lady named Liz Cavalli that was working in the office. She says, you know, you got a personality that I think you're like this real estate guru. His name is Mike Ferry. He's going to be in Seattle teaching real estate. You should go. I'm like, okay, cool. Right? I went and I met Mike Ferry. He saw on stage talking about this and that. And one thing he did say that really caught my eye and ear was like, in real estate, there's 2 ways you can get business. One, passively, wait for someone to call you. And he said it's very unpredictable. Or 2, you can be active, go out there and find the people who want to buy and sell and then work with them. If you want to do that, I recommend you go door knocking. Go get listings. And if you know the script, you door knock, right? You can get listing. And at that time, he was selling coaching for $300 a month, which is like $10,000 today, basically. And at $300, you talk to one of his team member every other week for 30 minutes, and $300. And $300, man, I was like, I was like all my money I was making from Safeway, basically.
Right.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna go get this guy to coach me, and I paid $300 for this cat. And my car payment was $100, bro, and I'm paying $300 for coaching, right? But the thing I learned today, even today, you know, that's why I pay, you know, Robel for personal coaching. That's why I have a business coach, I have a fitness coach, I have a spiritual coach, I have a financial coach, right? I have a meditation coach. I got a coach for almost every aspect of my life because it's the shortcut to the top. And that's why I'm a big believer that the more you learn, the more you earn. The faster you learn, the faster you can earn. And people who's cheap, they don't want to invest in themselves. They just take the slow road to the top. I ain't trying to take the slow road because shit, I got things I got to do. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't mind paying people to teach me so I can cut the line to get to the top faster.
Yeah.
And so I pay Mike Ferry, and he says, look, memorize these scripts. Then I want you to go do like 100 doors a day. And then when you get done, then you go see your appointments. So my schedule was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I go work out. I get to the office around 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, Cammy would drop me off on Beacon Hill. She'd take off with the car. And I would do it from 9 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon because it take me 5 hours to knock on 100 door. When I get done, I call it, I'm done, come pick me up. And my promise to Cammy was I'm not going to throw away the flyer in the garbage cans because then that way I'd be cheating myself. So I knocked on 100 doors. If they ain't home, I leave the flyer there. If they are home, talking to them. And so it took me about 5 hours. And as soon as I get done, I call and say, hey, come pick me up, I'm done. I go back to the office, I eat lunch, and then I'm off to see an appointment. And I did that every day for 10 years straight. 100 doors a day, 5 days a week, 10 years straight. Every day. In the rain, the cold, the sun, the snow. Every single day, did not stop. And I started doing my first deal, 2 deals, first year, 2 deals, third year, right? By my 4th year, I went from like 3 deals to like 10 deals. And then 10, 15, and then 20, 30, 40, 50. And then in my peak year, before I slowed down, I started investing more. It was my 2010, I was doing about 15, 20 listing a month by myself.
Wow.
Listing, not a buyer. That's listing only. So I was making close to $1 million a year, right? In South Seattle. Not even high-end home, just South Seattle. I was cranking out 20 homes a month. Just me and Cammy. Just like.
And so you weren't with an office anymore at that
I
time?
was working at John Scott and Windermere.
John Scott, okay.
Right? And I just paid them a fee to work there. But I was just cranking out 15, 20 homes. But at that time, I was making so much money as a real estate agent, but I didn't know what to do with that money. I was spending it on some dumb shit. That's why you always hear me talk about on video. Don't be making all this money and buy some dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I met my mentor, Saul, who says, if you want to actually be wealthy down the road and you want to have a lot of freedom down the road, kick it when you want to kick it, work when you want to work, take the money you're making, buy a lot of real estate and park your money. I was like, really? He said, when you work, you trade your time to go make money. But when you're wealthy, you trade your money back for time because technically all we want is time. That's the only one thing you can't fucking you know what I mean, waste and rewind.
Yeah.
But the problem when you're younger, you got to go work. You got to trade your money, trade your time to go make some money.
Yeah.
So you're going to lose time. But if you're smart, when you get into the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, like me, you want to have enough money where you actually trade your money back for time, because everybody wants time. That's what we all work for, is time, right? So we can do the shit we want to do.
Yeah.
And so from 91, right? So 97, when I bought my first rental, and I made a commitment, every year I buy at least 2 houses, no matter what happened, minimum. And I never stopped buying 2 houses. Everything I do is always consistent. I didn't buy every year, minimum 2 houses every year since 1997. And then when I made more money, I buy 3 houses, 4 houses. Now I buy like 30 houses a year. You know what I mean? Every time I make money, I buy houses. Every time I make money, I buy houses.
And then are you sitting on most of those, or are you
Sitting on all
flipping
of
them?
them.
You're sitting on all of them.
Yeah, I
They're
have
just all
over like
rentals.
300 some properties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
From houses to apartment buildings to
Right.
multi-unit. I just sit on them and I just collect rent on them. I bring in about probably $200,000 a month in rent every single month.
I see. And how many people do you have working with you on managing those properties?
Just my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law to manage the whole entire portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
then
see.
we pay them 10% to manage it.
Gotcha.
My staff is just me and Cammy. That's it.
So very small.
That's it, bro.
That's
I
bare
work at home.
bones. Yeah.
I got no overhead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I keep
Right.
everything simple.
Yeah.
I realized for me, as I got older, I tried everything. And I fumbled, fell on my face. I work, I stress, I have no peace of mind. And in all these contrasts, I realized that the thing that is important to me. And so I realized today I have like 7 or 8 clear core value. And today, anytime I get involved with anything, someone asks me to partner with them, someone asks me to do something, I gotta check my core value. If it lines up to my core value, then I do it. If it don't line up to my core value, I don't even do it. So my core value is abundance. Anytime I get involved in something, it has to have an abundance of everything. Abundance of money, abundance of, freedom, abundance of, air, abundance of this, flexibility. Contribution. It has to be something I do that is a contribution to the world. I don't want to do anything where it's just grab, but it's not really making a difference, right? I want to be creative. If I'm going to get into something, it has to be creative. If it ain't creative, I'm not interested. I want to do something that if I get involved in it has to have growth to it. I don't like being staggered, right? It has to have balance. I don't want to make a lot of money and I'm not balanced. When I do other things, it had to be simple. So that's why we have a simple life. Me and Cammy, we don't have a lot of staff. We just me and her. I have Lorenz who shoot all my social media, and that's it. And then Cammy have her sister as her assistant, and that's my whole entire operation. And so anytime I do something, I always check to see, do I want to get involved? And I just check to see, does this have simplicity, have growth, has balance, peace of mind, and abundance? If it doesn't, then I'm a no. If it is, I'm a yes. And that's how I check how I do things now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, when was it that you really got into like coaching? Because that seems to be a lot of what you've kind of grown into now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I had no plan on having a coaching business. As I was coming up, when I bought my first house in 97, and I started buying rentals, right? And I was making good money selling real estate. And how everything started was, a real estate office might be in South Seattle. Go, man, I see you for the last 5 years or 10 years. You've grown a lot. Can you come and speak to my office? I come and speak to their office. And then next thing I know, I'm asked to speak at this office, and then at this seminar. And then all of a sudden, someone like a Moose is coming to me, yo, bro, I'm getting into real estate. Teach me what you're doing. So I teach Moose. And then I teach another friend of mine. And I wasn't, just doing it during my time of working. And I did that from probably, 2010 all the way till probably 5 years ago. I was just coaching people just on the side, giving them tip what I do. All I do is tell them what I do. You know what I mean? And then word of mouth just got bigger and bigger. And then next thing I knew, I got people from every state calling me, yo, man. And I didn't have really a structure to coach people, right? I didn't have systems and structures. And then what happened when I met a bunch of people to go, let me help set it up for you.
Yeah.
Let me help you set up this, help set up that. Let me help you set up this, right? It's like a whole operation. And I seen people do that. I just never knew how they did it. And they set the whole thing up. And 5 years ago is where I launched my Springboard coaching business. That's where I coach a lot of people on how to be financially free and invest in real estate. So that's how it all started.
And has that been? It definitely seems like it's grown. It keeps growing. Is it becoming like anywhere near as lucrative as the real estate yet, or not?
So real estate, where I make the money. Well, I still sell real estate as a realtor. You know, I still make like $500,000 a year selling real estate. But I take the money and I buy real estate. So when I buy real estate, I buy something and I fix them up. I make anywhere from $300,000-$500,000 from rehabbing this house.
Right.
So at the end of the year, after fixing houses, I don't ever sell them. I might probably create $4 or $5 million worth of equity in these houses.
Yeah.
So they good money by that. But the coaching business, now after my 5th year, now it is doing very well. It's doing as well as my rehab business and my investment business. But this coaching business has no ceiling now. It just, I mean, with all the gurus out there, my company is probably the top 2 largest coaching business in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, we get 200, 300 new students a month, organic. Wow. 200-300 a month, bro.
How's that compared to so you said when you started you had a coach, right?
Yes.
How's what you're doing now compared to where you were when you had a coach?
The company that they had a coach, they wasn't growing as fast as I'm going. They might have 3,000, 4,000 coaching clients, but they've been around for 20 years. I have over 3,000 students today. I've only been around for 5 years. So you think about it. If I'm getting 200-300 a month, times out by 12.
So, and what changed that? What makes it so you're able to reach so many more people?
Social media. That's why I'm so fanatic on my social media. I look at my social media as a billboard, right? Imagine, you pay somebody for this billboard on West Seattle Bridge. It costs $10,000 for a billboard like that. I know, because I checked on it before, right?
Yeah.
Imagine having a billboard on I-5. That's how much traffic.
Right.
You paying $20,000 a month. But I-5 ain't got nothing on social media.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Right.
So when I was gonna pay for a sign, they made you think about what's your message?
Yeah.
What's your call to action? Right? What's your promise? And you have to think, damn, even a Super Bowl ad. You only got 30 seconds to make this ad to get people to like stamp in your brain because you pay $5 million. And so I'm not fanatic on social media. When I make videos, I gotta make sure it's so clear, so easy for someone to digest. You think of the Super Bowl ad? It's so simple, right? They make it so simple so people can grab it because they only got 30 seconds to grab it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the social media field for me. That's why I always tell Robel, right? We got to constantly keep looking to see how we can get our video more creative, give them more tips, more value. Because the more value we give them, the better tip we give them how to actually be more fit, be more healthy, right? The more they want to, be part of that community. And that's what I've been doing. I've been a fanatic I post 2 videos a day on Instagram, 2 on TikTok, 2 on LinkedIn, 2 on Twitter, 2 on YouTube Shorts, 2 on YouTube Long. I do that every day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
For the last 3 years, I don't miss a day.
And I think when people hear that and they would look you up, they would say, well, I would do that too if I had that amount of followers, right?
But remember, I started at 0. Here's the one thing people don't realize.
That's what I remember, because I remember you were doing that 2016, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day, bro.
And I remember looking at your followers.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's a lot of dedication, man. Like, he's talking to people. We got the same amount of followers. I'm not talking to people.
Right.
And then I remember, even for 4 years, I felt like there was slow growth.
Yes.
And I remember seeing you one time on Rainier in a drop-top Bentley. And I was like, yo, I haven't seen you in a minute.
Right.
We've been inside and all that. And then I was like, I haven't seen Thach in a while. And I remember looking you up and going, what should happen?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
So what kind of consistency or what kind of situation led you to keep that going to where it was like slow, 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 and then it hit?
Well, first of all, when I started it, I wasn't thinking about, I didn't even have my coaching business. I was doing it because I just want to give people free game. That's part of contribution that's wired inside my core value, just like you guys. I just want to give free tips. You know what I mean? Because so many people ask me, yo, bro, how you come so rich? You know what I mean? And most of the people you know that's rich, they never throw free game.
Right.
So I was like, shit, I have no problem throwing free game all day, all night. You know what I mean? I was just throwing free game, but I wasn't good at how to deliver it or how to package what I need to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just doing it just for the sake of it. And then when Facebook came out, I still wasn't really doing it like how I wanted to do it.
Right.
When Instagram came out, and then, you know, I had this guy named Lorenz. He came to me, and he was like, bro, you got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You got to be able to tell it in 30 seconds. And so I would be like describing some shit, right? But it take me 2 minutes to describe it. He's like, no, bro, you got to cut this shit down.
Right.
Get to the point quicker. And it took me a while, Phil, to actually master how to do short form.
Right.
That's why today it's hard for me to do long form because I tend to get to the point too fast and I can't do a
Stretch it
15-minute
out.
video.
Yeah.
And so I just became fanatic and obsessed on how to make content, deliver it at the basic level so my kid can understand it because they watch it in 30 seconds.
And I don't think for anyone, this is easy for us to remember, but for people under 25, Instagram didn't always give you 10 minutes to talk.
No, they didn't.
It started at 15 seconds.
They start, yeah, you're right.
It started at pictures, then 15
That's
seconds,
right.
Yeah.
then 60
That's
seconds.
right.
So it wasn't always being able to talk.
No. This is why people that come on there, they do too long because that platform is not made for long.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to be able to deliver what you need to deliver in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, 60 seconds the max now, right?
Right.
And so here's the thing that people don't realize. I had plenty of money to buy followers. And I remember it used to go so slow. I used to tell Lorenz, bro, go buy me a couple thousand followers. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Lorenz was like, no, dude, the moment you buy it, you're going to mess with your algorithm. Don't do it. Let's just stay consistent on making good content.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude. And I see people in front of me got 100,000 followers. I'm only got 10. You know how long it's going to take me to get there, dude? That's what I tell them. I know, dude, but if you go buy 90,000 right now, you mess up your algorithm forever. You never can correct it again.
Yeah.
And I knew people around me that were doing it. And they already had 100,000, 150,000. I'm only at 20,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but look at the engagement. It's low.
It's organic,
Look at
though,
the,
your
you know what I
growth.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew all my platform organic.
Yeah.
I never paid for one follower.
That's a huge difference.
They don't even know, bro. That's real work. That's like going to the gym and losing weight.
How much do you think getting a dry run helped you with that? Because 100 doors a day for 5 days a week
Yes.
for years just sounds like the harder version of that.
It is that, right? I think there was no accident. My mom and dad, for what they did, it taught me, man. First of all, there's a blessing that my mom and dad was broke. Because this is what I try to do, man, with my kid. I know we're going to talk about kids in a minute.
Yeah.
My mom and dad didn't have no money, Phil. When I was younger, I wanted a bike. They're like, shit, I ain't got no money. So guess what? I didn't have but one. I had 2 paper route, bro. To go out there and work 2 paper route, okay, in the middle school. To go and deliver paper every Saturday and Sunday. My dad would put the paper on the back of his trunk. He'd drive me to other neighborhood, and I'd get out, and I'd drop them in the people's houses, right? And I did that, but I didn't have enough money to buy a whole bike, because the whole bike was $100. So guess what I did? I worked, and I saved enough money to buy a handlebar. And then I bought some pedals, and I bought a gooseneck, and I bought a seat.
Yeah.
And eventually I bought enough parts, and I put my bike together.
Yeah.
So the point I want to make is my mom and dad came over here from nothing, and then they had nothing. So it forced me, if I want something, I'm going to have to go get it. And then no one's going to teach me about real estate, right, to go to business. I had to go out there and do it. But I learned all this stuff from my mom and dad, so all that grind helped me, right?
Yeah.
And that's why today there's a balance where I don't want to make it easy for my kid. People don't realize my kid,
Yeah.
they don't get everything.
Yeah.
I can give my kid everything, bro.
Right.
But they don't get everything.
Yeah, I've seen it
They
in
do
the
not
videos.
get everything at all. Nothing. Okay, they have to earn it. So people were like, "What?" Yeah, for real. So yeah, for sure. All that stuff helped me. You know what I mean? And I think that's why some kids, when they coming up, they're too soft, bro.
Yeah.
They give up too easy. They got no grit.
Right. It
You
seems
know?
like you definitely had the grind mentality from early.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, it's the parents' fault too, because they make it easy for them.
Yeah.
And this every time I have this discussion about this shit, people go crazy. You know, like, oh man, that's fucking bullshit. You came over here so you could actually make it so you can give your kids a easy life. Hell no. What we gonna teach them? That's like giving your kid, fat as hell coming in here. You know what I mean? You want to lose weight, you gotta get on the treadmill, get going.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one place that parents cannot do shit for kids. It's in sports and work out. They can't do it for them. Kids, you want to earn your spot on the baseball team?
You gotta do it.
You gotta go do it.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying though.
They try.
They're still trying to do it for
you know
them.
what I mean? Pay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pay for the slot. Nope,
Yeah.
ain't gonna work.
So I'm curious, how much impact do you think that your personality and your character
Yes.
played into the success and the kind of viral moments that you've had with
Yes.
social media? Because I think a big part of the fact that you are, this like hood Vietnamese guy,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Who's out here just talking.
Yep.
It's like you're a personality. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's a huge part a lot of times. So I'm just curious about what you think about
Man,
that.
what's so interesting, bro, is like nobody ever asked that question, but because everybody I've been interviewed has been, out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And since this is from Seattle and this is right here where I grew up at.
Right.
If you knew me back then, I was a shy Asian kid, just like all other Asian kids.
Mm-hmm.
Shy, introvert. I'm actually still introvert. When I leave places like this, I don't like socializing with a lot of people. I like to just be
Chill.
chilling with close people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was the introvert back then, all the way, bro, until I got to being a realtor. That's how long it was. So before being a realtor, I was quiet, man. I was the introvert, chilling. You know what I mean? But then when I got into real estate, I had to go door knocking. I had to learn how to get out of my own shell. And I had to actually almost like be an actor. I couldn't be the Thach.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least the Thach. The Thach is the Vietnamese kid from Rainier Valley talking like I'm from Rainier Valley.
Right.
So if I'm going to go out there and knock on someone's door, especially an American door, I need to talk like I actually got a little bit of English in me versus
Right.
all Vietnamese. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
So I had to talk like, Mr. Jones, how you doing? I'm Thach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what happened, I did that for years. So I almost had two personalities.
Right.
One was I didn't want nobody
The
to know the real
professional.
Thach.
Yeah.
I had to try to be the professional.
Yeah.
And I did that for years. And I would get a lot of listing from that. But I was never really being me.
Right.
And so as I grew older, I was making success. And then when social media came out, I tried social media and tried to be, I'm Thach Nguyen, and today, let me give you 3 tips about real estate. And those videos would not do well.
Yeah.
And then one day, just randomly, we talking on stage, and someone recorded me. My friend Stacia, she was my first social media person, and she recorded me talking, and I was just being me. And she posted on Facebook, and it went crazy. But I was scared to be me.
Yeah.
Because what if people judge me like this guy, Vietnamese guy, talking all this slang,
Right.
talking all this money.
Right.
What the hell is this? And when I embraced it, then that became
Your character.
my new character.
Yeah.
And that is what I always tell people. And I tell Rebel this too. You got to be Rebel, right? But the problem is, what if somebody judge me? What if people don't want to be a member of Athletic Forum because I was just being the real Rebel? Well, you're going to lose some people. So I started being me. And then there's a lot of people that stop following me because they were like, oh, this guy's ghetto. But as I grew, what I realized, my audience, out of all the millions, 90% of my audience are all minority, all across the world. Today, my coaching business, 80% of all my students are minority.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, all minority, Hispanic, Black. You know what I mean? You name every nationality.
Yeah.
And the smallest one is Americans.
Because they appreciate the authenticity.
And yes.
Yeah.
And they say, that's me.
Right.
That guy is me.
Right.
And today, I own this character now, right? But off camera, I just want to just chill,
Yeah.
relax. But when I'm on camera, even like now,
Yeah.
right?
Turn it up.
I need to turn it up. And it's not like I'm trying to get hype. It's just that's the character that is out there.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
I see it.
Yeah. So yeah, it helps a lot, bro. That's why when people do social media,
Yeah.
why they don't do well, because they are being fat, the old fats.
Too chill.
Too chill
Yeah.
and not being real.
Right.
Trying to be Mr. Jones, right? And that's the ghetto guy, and not just being real.
Yeah.
And that's why the video don't go viral. A lot of people today, non-minority, they love my video because they say, man, I like this guy. He's just fucking real. And that's where I realized I need to keep being that guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of keeping it real, you were talking about earlier your kids a little bit.
Yes.
I know that in a lot of the videos that I really like that I've seen is you teaching your kids
Yes.
about how to create streams of income, how to create passive income, even at their age,
Yeah.
before they're getting to the point where they're owning their own properties and
Yes.
stuff, right? Which obviously they're going to get to that point.
Right.
But just, I remember seeing one where you had one of your kids. He bought a washer dryer
Right. Yeah. Yep.
in an apartment building.
That's right.
Is that one of your buildings?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So he pays for the washing machine.
Yeah.
And then people go and they put in quarters
Coins,
or whatever,
and
and
they go
they
collect
wash
it.
their clothes, and then he gets the income from that.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. See, to me, man, every time I talk about this topic, there's so many controversial. And the topic is about how to raise your kid. Boy, I tell you, this shit, politics, money, you know what I mean? People go crazy on social media on this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the topic of parenting, I realized the best thing my mom and dad did for me was they didn't have the money, so I had to go learn how to earn it.
It forced you.
Forced me to go learn how to earn it.
Yeah.
And I learned so much. It wasn't even the money that I made that I learned. It's how I got creative to go and make the money. I can't teach that to my kid if I give them the money. You can't teach your kid nothing if you give them the fish. Take the time and teach them how to fish. But the problem is every parent want to give their kid the fish.
Yeah.
Especially the minority family. They want to give the fish to the kid. And I always tell them, what the hell are you going to teach them? You ain't teaching them shit. So I realized, right, what I want to do is, for my kids, I want them to learn how to fish. If they want something, let me teach you how to get it. And I remember the owner of Amazon,
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, in his book, he says, and every time I make this quote, people go crazy. Because when he was young, he used to go to his dad's or his grandfather's farm, and he used to work in the farm in the summer. And it would be like the barn doing everything. And they had a whole bunch of sawmill and everything, right? And the grandpa or the grandfather used to always teach him how to use this. And Jeff used to be scared. And then the grandfather would teach him how to use the saw machine. And the grandpa said to Jeff, I would rather have a kid with 9 fingers that learned how to be creative than a kid with 10 fingers and ain't creative. Right? And so today I say to my kids, you got to learn how to do it. I want to teach you how to have the grind. I want you to teach you how to have the grit. I want to teach you how to be creative. And I'm not going to give you the money. You got to do it yourself. If you want the wash and dry machine, right? Go earn the money. And because I also told my kid, when I die, they're going to get a small percentage of my fortune. And a small percentage is still going to be a good amount of fortune for them anyway, but a small percentage, right?
Let's be clear.
Right. But then the rest of it is going to go to my nonprofit, and my nonprofit is going to do something good to the world.
Right.
And so I want to do what Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and all the other people are doing. They're not giving all their money to their kids. They want to teach the kids how to earn their own money. A lot of people like disagree with that. Fuck, that's crazy, man. You came over here, we came over here so we can give our kids everything they need, right? So we can work hard to provide for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to provide them. I'm going to give them a shelter over their head, teach them how to fish. But why am I going to give them all the money? How am I going to do that? If my kid knew they're going to get all the money when they grow up, like a trust funded kid, they would not grind and learn how to do this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so one of the differences I think there is, you know, especially a lot of 98118, right?
Yes.
That's where you grew up, 98118?
Yeah.
A lot of 98118. I would say when I grew up in 98118 through the 90s.
Yep.
And a lot of the people who lived there were doing well.
Yes.
But a lot of the people who lived there didn't grow up doing well.
That's right.
Right? So a lot of them grew up hungry, so to speak, or sometimes literally hungry.
Yep.
So when they got money, they didn't want their kids to grow up
That's
that way.
right.
So that's different from Bill Gates, right? Because Bill Gates doesn't have to fight the feeling of being hungry growing up.
That's right.
And protecting his kids for that, where you do.
That's right.
So I think a lot of the times what minorities are fighting is like, I did this. I don't want my kids to do this.
That's
so
right.
how do you fight that?
That's right. Well, I say, Phil, I now have been the person that now changing the generation now, right?
Yep.
The worst thing I can do is actually now, as I came up now out of this 9818,
Yep.
is to not teach my kid on how to do it also.
Yep.
Because it's easy for us to go, man, we came over here with nothing. I starved my ass out, you know what I mean? Now I got it. Kid, I don't want you to suffer like me either. So you know what? I'm gonna make it easy for you. I'm gonna give you whatever you need. But if you notice, most of the kids that get real easy, they spend the money. They have no value for saving. They have no value for money.
Yeah.
They have no value for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My kids, they don't buy a lot of expensive tennis shoes. They got a few pairs. I know kids that parents don't even have them like I have. And you walk in their house, they got freaking closet full of sneakers.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't value that. So I agree. I grew up poor. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to take care of my kids. But what I don't want to do, I don't want to make it easy by just handing it to them.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them the solution.
Don't spoil them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's find me the solution and run it by me. See what you think of it. And let me help you with that. That's a different mentality. Otherwise, we're not going to change the generation by just giving it to them to the next one. So if you made it and you just give it to your kids, right, make it easy for them so they didn't have to learn how to solve problems, understand the value of money, the value of time, the value of relationship, how are they going to teach their kids?
And I don't, you
Right?
know, I think that's something that you're going to see a lot of millennials and Gen Z
Yes.
trying to figure out.
That's right.
The people who are grandchildren of the boomers.
That's right.
Because the last two generations were just like, war. We figured out the war.
Yes.
We got a house. We got a vacation house.
Right.
And it's, you know, millennials and Gen Z are oftentimes the first generation is like, oh, but now we got to figure out how to get the drive that they had back
That's
then
right.
into our kids.
That's right.
But we got to do it without all the like maybe war or hardships
That's right.
that
Right.
created. We got to figure out how to
Right.
create the same drive naturally.
Yeah. It's almost like you think about the gym, right? You got to teach your kid how to have a little bit of drive too. You know what I mean? You want to play sports, you want to lose some weight, you got to have a little bit of drive. The problem with some of the gyms, they don't have the drive. They're lazy. You know what I mean? So I'm a big believer in balance. Don't give them everything so they'll be too lazy. Give them a little bit so they can be hungry. Cammy always say, don't give them everything at one time. Give them a little bit so it keep them hungry.
All right. And now you said, I guess we got to get to this point because you said, Cammy always said, and I see Cammy all the time, right?
you
You
do.
guys come in at 6 a.m. You guys been coming at 6 a.m.
Forever, bro.
Forever.
Ever.
At one point, you guys were coming at 6 a.m. And I was like, how are you here at 6? You're like, the kids sleep.
Yeah.
We'll call them when we're done, and hopefully they'll be up. Russell will
right.
be getting ready by the time we get home.
That's right.
Or maybe they won't. And then tomorrow they will.
That's right.
So tell us about Cammy, because I know she's obviously a big part in all of it.
I call her the boss, bro. She's the real boss. She don't have no social media. She don't have no Facebook, no Instagram, no nothing. She like undercover. Right? I'm the guy to go out there and catch the fish. Cammy is a person, just hand me the fish, I'll take care of it. Just give me the fish, go out there and bring me more fish. This is why when we talked earlier with Robel, you know what I mean, about relationship.
Yeah.
Cammy's role, she knows she's good at. Just find me the deal, bring me the deal, let me analyze it. If the deal is good, we'll buy it. If the deal ain't good, go find me another deal. If the deal is good, give it to me. I will talk to the architect. I will talk to the banker. I will talk to the builder. I will get this shit rolling. But you just stay out there. You keep bringing me more deals, right? So, and then I'll also say, so that's her niche. That's her brilliance. The other thing is, she managed the money well. If I didn't have Cammy, I wouldn't be rich. Because I make $5, I spend $6. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know this. I was already making probably $200,000-$300,000 a year, and I'll be wanting my first Ferrari, and she wouldn't let me have it. She's like, "I'll make a deal with you. You give me 15 rental property, and then you can buy a Ferrari." And I was like, "Okay, that deal." And I love challenges, so my ass was focused
Out there.
And I was knocking on the door. I got my 15 property. She says, "Go ahead and go buy your car now." And I remember the day I went and bought it, brand new, right? And then, you know, we always make deal. I want to buy me another car. How much is it? $300. Well, go find me a house for $300,000. Get that money first, and then you can go get your car. All right, I do it. So that's the boss. She managed the money. If I didn't have her, you know what I mean, I wouldn't have no money. She handled all the back end. But I think the biggest thing for Cammy, for me, is this is where I'm grateful. And you know this. She's not flashy. She's just humble, down to earth. I tend to be more the front line. People think that's more the flashy, right? I used to think I want a flashy female. The problem is, right, I will get in trouble because Cammy keep me grounded, keep me humble, keep my ego in check. She's the one, Phil, that said to me, "You know, you're out there helping a lot of people, but just don't forget about me and the kids." So when she make those kind of statements, it just kicked you right in the gut. So she keep me hungry. She keep me humble. She keep my ego in check. You know what I mean? Every time I get a little big-headed, she put my ego in check. She make me wealthy, man. You know what I mean? You know, that's a real boss. And you know this, bro. I'm scared to take your class because you run people to death. You know what I mean? But Cammy, you know, it's like, oh shit, today's field class. I got to be ready for it. You know what I mean? She's a beast. You know what I mean? She comes in and, you know, when she knows field days, you know, she got to be mentally ready, she says.
Yeah.
So even at her, she's 50 years old. She's out here and she's doing it. You know what I mean? And she does it every day. Every day. We do it every single day. So she know how to make money. She work out. You know what I mean? She always keep myself grounded on, you got to chill out, honey. It's too stressed. You got to learn how to go with the flow more. So she really is the person that really teach me a lot of stuff, but a lot of people don't know that. So behind the scene, she's the one who actually keep me aligned and humble and have money. And she handled a lot of shit in the back end for me too, a lot.
So before you guys were coming to AF, were you working out on a consistent basis before that?
We used to work out at 24 Fitness in West Seattle at 3:30 in the morning.
Crazy.
Every morning, bro, 3:30.
Crazy.
Right? And then I got older. I'm like, why the hell do I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go work out 3:30? It make no damn sense, right? And then finally it went to 4:30 and then 5:30 and then now I'm working out a little late now, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, super late. 6.
So what have you found about working out that helps like keep you, going and keeps you on with your routines?
Well, man, I tell you, the older you get, your muscle want to get tight, your joints want to get tight. You know what I mean? Your hips want to get tight. This thing just tighten up, and then just cardio. You know, I got 2 kids, a senior and a sophomore, and I did a couple of things. They was young. I had to make sure I had the endurance, and Cammy too, to keep up with these guys. And Cam and I always challenge ourselves and say to ourselves, we're not letting the kid outrun us. right? They all want to race Cammy and I. You know what I mean? When they were younger, and we used to smoke their ass. You know what I mean? and so that's one. And number two is we want to be an example for Russell Hudson, because this is what they said. They said, man, Mom, Dad, I got to give you guys prop. Because, you know, I have a lot of friends. Their mom and dad, man, they're fat. You know what I mean? They're overweight. They might have money.
Yeah.
But they fat. They're overweight. But you guys stay fit. You know what I mean? And we see that. And so they eat good. They stay fit. Right? And so I do that for the kids. But for me, you know, it exerts a lot of my energy when I'm out inspiring and motivating people in the world. So I got to stay healthy and I got to stay fit myself all the time. And so when I miss the gym for a week, when I'm on vacation or I'm out traveling for business, when I come back, I can just tell my muscles tight, my hips are tight, my joints are tight. And it takes me 3-4 days just to get myself moving again. So I know if I stop, everything will tighten up, and then just wait 1 or 2 years, and all of a sudden that 50 turns to 60 quick. And you ain't gonna have the same ability. So right now, I'm still great that my hips are still open. You know, my joints, I can still hop and I can still run. So I got to keep that going. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then at the end of the day, man, like this is what my mentor said to me. He spent the first 50 years making a lot of money. Now you got a lot of money. You want to spend the second 50 years spending your money. So you got to stay healthy. So if you don't stay healthy, you just wasted 50 years. So you can actually be sick and then taking the money to pay for your sickness for the next 50 years.
Right.
Which is a bullshit reason to do that.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's a waste.
But you see it a lot.
Bro, I got friends I know that, man, is dying at a young age, right? I got friends that's a gang of money and dying from cancer. You know what I mean? So for me, when I heard that, I spent 50 years making all this money. I sacrificed my life, my energy, stress to get this money. And in the second year, right, I spend that second half taking the money, paying for health, paying for sickness. That don't make no damn sense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let me see if I can find this quote, man, as you guys are asking me next question. I know we're coming up in time anyways.
Yeah, that's impressive because I know, I think one of the things, motivation is hard to come by.
Hard, bro.
And I think a lot of people want money. And I think a lot of people can't fathom why in the world you would wake up at 5 a.m. to work out every day if you already, like if you got kids and you got a house and you got the cars and you have a spouse, why are you still doing it? And you're both still doing it.
It's not got nothing to do with the money, man. But when you are healthy and you feel energized, your muscle and your joint, you know what I mean, feel strong, feel good at 57 years old, right? It's actually easier to go make money. Actually, the moment your energy and your health go down, you don't want to get out of bed, man. You get lazy and your brain starts to not get creative. Making money just is a creation mode, all right? But in order to activate that creation mode, you gotta you gotta stay healthy, stay fit. For me, I work out because I want to stay healthy and energized, but it keep my brain sharp, bro. I need to keep this guy sharp because the moment this guy stopped being used, everything else stopped. So I need to be creative because I'm giving myself 5 more years until I'm gonna hang it up. So I need to stay creative for 5 more years. Okay, 5 more years. That's what I'm hanging it up.
So both your sons graduate college. After the last one's college graduation, you're out.
I'm out. Now I'm gonna still work out, stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be putting in the same kind of hour I'm putting in right now. I'm gonna really like enjoy, and I'm just gonna 2 months I live in Newport Beach, 2 months I live in Maui, 2 months I live in Japan. You know what I mean? I just be traveling. Summertime I live in Seattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
That sounds like the right schedule. Summertime in Seattle.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like the right one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me read you this quote, and I think this would really illustrate what I wanted to say. The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, his answer was man, because he sacrificed his health in order to make money in the early years. And then he sacrificed his money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or in the future. He lives as if he is never going to die. and then die having really never lived. And that's the point. See? Every time I read that quote, man, it make me really just think about how I'm living.
Yeah.
Right? Too many people are worried about the past. Too many people are worried about the future. Right? And they out there hustling, making money. And then they sacrifice their relationship with their wife, their kids, their health, so they can go out there and make money. And then they got the money, and the wife is gone. The kids don't want to be doing nothing with them. And then their health is fucked up. And then now they're at the hospital, always paying to try to get health, and all of a sudden they get cancer, and then they die. That's a fucked up life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's human being every day, bro. Every day right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing a good job. You know what I mean? Continue to keep putting out good tips, you know what I mean, about health and vitality. Why is it important? I think soon people will hear it. I don't think people take health that serious right now. I think it's like if I have time, I do it. But in the meanwhile, I'm busy making money.
Well, yeah.
Surviving.
For most of us, I think it's a given with youth.
Yeah.
And a lot of people sometimes associate youth with being like 18, but like 25 is youth, 35 is youth.
For real. 53 is youth, bro.
Exactly.
You know?
And I don't think people think about it until it's not youth anymore.
That's right.
And they just didn't think. They're like, I made it to 50. I'm chilling. I'm like, that, yeah. But when you see people who have been living a different way, you're like, yeah, 50 really is young. This guy your hurdle hops are crazy to me. I think you outjump your kids, which nobody
real.
at
My kids
53
say
is
that too.
outjumping 18-year-olds
Yeah.
in their own family, right?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always great to see. You know, I feel like you were here when I met you, so it's crazy to think that I've watched it go up. Because, you know, when I met you, I was like, well, he's got to be 90% of like his lifetime max, right?
Right.
Right. And you must have quadrupled in the time that I've known you, which is crazy to see. Because I would have thought the trajectory would have to be steeper, and it was more like,
Right.
And
it's not even just money. It's a combination of everything. You think about it, because I'm all about doing everything.
yeah,
Social media.
yeah,
Money, health,
yeah,
energy. You know what I mean? Because it's all part of a package.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I realized after reading that quote, I ain't trying to keep. That's why balance is an important core value in my life. Right? And I'm not saying balance, balance, but meaning everything's important.
Of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
All 7 of the core.
All 7 of the core is important.
Yeah,
Right.
Not 6 and 1.
exactly.
Not 3 and 4.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, man, I think you are a wealth of knowledge and game.
We didn't even scratch the surface yet, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
Inspiration. That's what I was going to say. Is
We
I
might have to do
got
part
so
two,
many
part
more
three one day.
questions. So
Yeah.
many more questions. But man, we really thank you for coming through and kicking it with us today.
Yeah.
It was dope. I learned a lot about you already, and like I said,
Yeah,
I got
we
way
haven't
more
talked
questions.
about
So.
the Fed time.
Yeah.
The drug time, the
I
drug
know.
dealing time.
I know.
The
We-
lowrider time.
We didn't really
Right.
touch pre-1999 at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have to stay part 2, part 3, come back later for this later.
But yeah, we appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Listening to you talk the first time, it was great to have you be able to share that with more people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and my goal, man, is I'm 53, turning 54 next month. My goal now is 5 more years, right? I'm hoping you guys still be here 5 more years, because I want to still stay fit, because I want to be able to still perform and box jump at 59.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You know
want
what
to
I
see
mean?
it. Yeah. We want to
That's
see
gonna
it.
be the test. Right?
wanna
Can
see
dads
it.
do this shit at 59?
We wanna
And
see
that's
it.
my goal. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Well, man, if you don't follow Thach already, make sure. What's your socials?
Just my name, Thach Nguyen.
Thach Nguyen.
And all the account, Thach Nguyen, everything.
Right. Okay. So make sure you check it out. There's lots of game on there. Lots of free game too.
Yes, all day.
You don't even have to sign up for no courses or anything like that. You just get free game every day. He posts multiple times every single day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. Check out the YouTube, because I throw a long game over there for free every single day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. All right. Well, Thach, thank you for coming through, man, for the Two Truths podcast. Myself, Miguel Rockwell, Phil 2.0, Thach Nguyen.
See y'all soon. Stay
All right.
tuned for part 2 and part 3. Peace.
That's right.
Peace.
Peace.